Bathroom Breaks and Bedtime Tales presents Purpose by Sebastian Winters.
Loosely inspired by true events. The first thing I knew was Yago. His presence was constant, steady, a warm hum that filled the dark, snug space of our cherry. We had always been together, cradled within the pulsing flesh of the fruit as it swayed on the branch high in the Colombian mountains. Yago was my twin, my other half.
"We were made for this," he would murmur, his voice vibrating softly against my shell. "Made to grow, to be." I didn't question it. The cherry was our whole world, a comforting cocoon of moisture and warmth. The outside was nothing but muffled whispers, the rustle of leaves, the low rumble of distant thunder, and sometimes faintly the rhythmic tapping of hands moving through the trees.
"Do you think they'll come for us?" I asked him once.
Diego's hum faltered just for a moment. "Not yet," he said. "We're safe here."
But even then, I could feel it, a tension in the roots of the tree, a foreboding in the whispers around us. Something was coming.
When the first scream pierced the quiet, it was as if the world cracked open. It came from another nearby cherry, sharp and desperate, followed by the sound of tearing flesh, ripped from the branch. Yago pressed closer to me, his hum turning into a low vibration of fear.
"What's happening?" I asked, my voice trembling.
"The blocking," he said, barely above a whisper. "It's real." I thought it was a myth, a story passed between the cherries to explain the disappearances. But now, as the vibrations in the branch grew stronger, I knew it was the truth. The hand came suddenly, gripping the branch and shaking it violently. I felt our cherry quiver, the pressure tightening around us. Yago's hum stopped. Then, with a brutal yank, we were torn from the branch.
Light. It was blinding, scorching my shell as we tumbled into a basket. The world was chaos, cries and screams from other cherries, the jarring movement of the hands carrying us away.
Yago's voice was faint. "We'll be okay," he said, as if to convince himself. I wanted to believe him.
They dumped us onto a flat surface under the unrelenting sun. My skin burned and cracked as the moisture inside me evaporated. Around us, the whispers of other cherries were thick with fear.
"They'll strip us," one said, their voice shaking.
"They'll tear us apart."
I pressed closer to Yago. "What does it mean?"
"I don't know," he murmured, but I could hear the lie in his voice.
The days passed slowly, each one more agonizing than the last. Cherries disappeared one by one, scooped up by hands or machines. When it was our turn, Yago tried to hum again, but the sound cracked in his throat.
"It'll be okay," he said, but the tremor in his voice betrayed him.
The machine loomed above us, its metal teeth glinting cruelly in the sunlight.
I watched as it tore into the cherries ahead of us, ripping away their skins with a grinding, screeching noise. Their cries were sharp and guttural, filling the air like a chorus of despair.
When it was our turn, I felt the teeth bite into us, peeling away the cherry's flesh. The pain was unbearable, a tearing, scraping agony that left me raw and exposed.
Jago screamed beside me, his voice high and desperate. I tried to hold on to him, but the machine's pull was relentless, separating us and dumping us into another pile.
"We're still here," Jago whispered afterward, his voice hollow. "We're still together."
But I could feel something slipping away.
The heat was the worst of it.
It surrounded us, invaded us, seeped into every crack and crevice. I could feel myself hardening, darkening, my very essence leaking out into the air as bitter smoke.
Jago was silent now, his voice lost in the roar of the flames. I tried to speak, to call out to him, but the heat stole my breath.
By the time the fire subsided, we were brittle and blackened, barely recognizable.
"Jago?" I whispered, but he didn't respond.
The blades tore into us, shredding us into 1,000 tiny fragments.
"Jago!" I cried, reaching for him as the grinder pulled us in. For a moment I felt him, his presence warm and familiar.
"I'm here," he said, his voice faint. "I'll always be here." Then he was gone, his essence scattered into nothingness. The grinding didn't just break my body, it fractured my sense of self. I was no longer whole, just powder, weightless and meaningless. The boiling water was a final assault. It cascaded over me, pulling me down into a swirling vortex. The heat extracted every last bit of me, dissolving what little I had left. I thought of Jago, of his home in the darkness of the cherry, and felt a pang of something I could only describe as grief. The water around me turned dark, infused with my bitterness, my fear.
The cup tilted, and I was drawn toward the edge.
For the first time I saw it, the mouth. It loomed above me, cavernous and dark, framed by teeth. As I was swallowed, I felt something strange, a fleeting connection to the drinker. Their emotions, their memories, their essence flooded into me. I saw flashes of their life, a child's laugh, a lover's touch, the weight of their worries. I wasn't gone. I was a part of them now, fueling their body, their thoughts, their life. But as the abyss claimed me, I couldn't help but wonder, was this what I was made for? Or had I been consumed long before the first hand reached for the branch?